We're back. Sorry about that, guys. I understand, baby. I'll get you a new one, okay?
No, we'll get you a new one.
You
or
know
either
what?
way.
Yeah.
Either way.
You want the new one anyway.
No, I just, if my controller dies, I'm going to need to borrow it.
That's fine. We'll take the other one.
Oh, thanks. The broken one?
Well, I'm not saying it's broke. I don't know. Thank you for calling AD&D. Plug in and out.
Well,
it's better now.
I can tell you one thing. It hangs from your camera. It's bent. And it's like got a...
It's old as shit.
It's not old as shit.
It's old as shit. Oh, guys, thank you for jumping back in here. Let's get back to talking knives. I don't know where we were. I think we were on KAVISO's site. You guys seen it, but I was only to the second page. There's a bunch of pages. They got a lot of good shit in there. So I do have an affiliate link down in the description. If you guys ever want to get anything from KAVISO, I appreciate it if you guys use it. They got a lot of stuff, and they're going to continue getting more stuff. Talk to him today. He's going to get shipments of other stuff, so even just regular stuff, they're going to wind up packing their site, which is a good thing because a lot of places run out of stuff, and then it's nice having these little places that wind up hanging on to a few. So then when all these other places are sold out, bang, you still got a place. Right now, I am flicking the Entity from Concept. I'll tell you what, man, this one's a beast. I'm liking this one. I'm going to send this one to Mike as soon as I'm done with it. It's really good. Like, really, really good. I'm not a fan of the clip. Well, the clip works great. It doesn't bother me in hand or anything. It's just ugly. That's it. It's just ugly. It would look way better with a milled clip, but everything else is amazing. But I haven't checked the thickness behind the edge. Let me check that really quick. Because now we got the new calipers. Because you guys know I was kind of slacking on thicknesses behind the edge because my caliper's messed up. 18.5. So 18.5 thousandths behind the edge. That's not bad for this. And it's got that poon that OCD for EDC likes. That poon action. Does your Kara make stickers? I'm wanting to get 2 different stickers made. Still haven't heard back from Cole. She does not. She sometimes designs them because she has the for like logos and stuff, you know, or the design for like the stickers, because she has the eye pen, and so she can do all this crazy drawings and art and stuff. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but she doesn't actually do the stickers. We just got a new shipment of stickers in. Some really good ones, some big ones that are vinyl, like they're really good quality ones. We like having those because those ones, they don't wear off. Like the ones from Cole are great. They're very affordable. Maybe he's doing different ones now, but the ones we originally got from him, they were kind of small and great stickers. I mean, great for throwing in packages and stuff like that. I'm just taking off my watch. But great for stuff like that. But if you put them on a truck or anything like that, they're going to wear off quick. Like even the ones I had in the package that I didn't open up right away, they wound up kind of wearing down a little bit. But they're super affordable, so there's nothing wrong with that. These ones we got they're quite a bit more expensive, but they are vinyl. They're thick. Like you can bend them. They're really, you can actually feel how thick they are. They're really good quality. Then we got the skulls. And if you guys don't know, we do have the merch store with the shirts and stuff, coasters and stuff like that. Can't get them on the merch store though. She just told me. Well, I'm just lying to him, all right? I want to lie. Oh, Mike, I sent you a shirt, by the way. I hope it fits. Text Cole's wife on Instagram. Cole does not do stickers. No, his wife does the stickers. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right, Mike. But Mike, you got a badass shirt coming. Look at Kara. She's all cleared up to play. I bet she has a handful of snacks. Yes, she does. Do you know if the Asher Spiro is ever coming back? I don't know. I talked to him not too long ago, but I'm not sure about the Spiro. You can probably contact him and ask, though. Steven says, just got into EDC. Your videos have been very helpful. That's awesome, man. I got into Super Steel because of you, and I found the WorkSharp Field Sharpener system from your recommendations. And I must say, man, it's great. That is badass. Did you see the other videos I did on it? I did multiple videos showing how you can get attachments for it and all kinds of pieces. It's a great system if you don't have like the $200 or whatever to shell out on the KME right away. You can get the WorkSharp, then later on get one attachment, then another attachment, and eventually over a while you can wind up making that system bad at, like very similar to the KME. You can use any different type of stones you want. Right now I'm flicking the bulldozer. This is another really good one. I like this knife a lot. I love the ergos. I love the blade shape, love the grind, super slicey, fantastic shape and ergos. The one problem I have with it is it's only a front flipper. Now, the lock bar access is really good, so disengaging it and closing it super smooth, but mine came with a stiff detent, like stiffy. I mean, I obviously can do it, but it's a stiff one. I wish it had a hole. It is begging for a hole deployment. I might just have to put a hole in it because I can reverse flick it, but I have to do it off the bottom, off the coating. Damn it, this is a good knife, though. Super solid. Stasa 23, I seen him with it, and he was screaming about it, so. Jared, why don't you get a 3D printing machine and make knife scales and stuff? Because there's a lot of knife companies out, or not knife companies, a lot of companies out there making scales, plastic scales. 3D printed scales to me wouldn't do any good. You need micarta, titanium, stuff like that, fat carbon, all the good stuff. That's what people want. That's what people are going to buy. People aren't going to buy plastic. So Jared has vinyl stickers, different thing altogether. My current girlfriend got into knives, but no chicks on YouTube that do streams. There's chicks on here that do knife stuff. There's a few of them. 2XL. No. Well, no. What was it? It might be a double XL, actually. I can't remember if it's an XL or double XL, but it's big for the size. So you'll see. And man, if it's too small, let your wife wear it. It don't matter. I am watching a ball tapper. An old flame sticker made. A ball tapper? Okay. Hey. Going to be lurking and making shit. All right, Alice. I appreciate the lurking. Zoroaster says, I'm so glad you have 3XL shirts on your merch site. Yeah, certain ones do run a little bit large. Other ones are just fine. Like, it just depends on which ones. There actually is USA made ones on there too. Yep. Most of the stuff Kara picked is USA made, by the way. So if the prices are a little bit more, it's USA made. So not all of them. So don't think everything is. Just some of the good stuff is. Like I think the skull one with the skull one with the knife in the mouth is for sure, right? Yeah. You guys can probably hear her. Hi, Jared. I think Ganzo Company copied many designs from many companies. They did. Such SPYDERCO, CIVIVI, KIZER, and more. What do you think? They copied Benchmade, SPYDERCO, Ontario, and I think that's it. But yeah, of course they did. I don't think they're doing it anymore. I think they're still selling all the knives that they had previously made, until they're gone. I don't know. I can't confirm if they're still making those ones. I don't think so, though. I think they're only doing their own new designs now. But yeah, they did do that. Now, there's one thing you got to kind of understand. Like, I think they stopped because they realized that we don't like that stuff. Right. But over there, it's different. Like here, that's like copyright, like that's bad shit. Over there, it's kind of like a sign of, I don't know, that you like it. Like it's not such a bad thing. Now I'm saying it's a bad thing. I don't like that. And I think that they might be changing their ways, which is cool. As long as they're not making them anymore, which I can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure they're not. And they're only doing their own designs or or people's designs, then I'm all for it. Right. They never lied about anything though, and they actually didn't do like straight clones. They have their logos on there. They did change stuff, like say the SPYDERCO one, right? They put an axis lock on there, right? So it's not like they just copied things. They just took the design, like the shape, and then would change the lock and materials and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to stick up for them. I'm just saying that's the truth. I don't know. Check the site. I think it goes up to 3XL. Can I get a good quality knife from a gas station? No, you cannot. I wouldn't bet on it. I've bought some gas station knives in my day, and from my experience, no, you cannot. Not unless maybe down south somewhere they got like a cool truck stop with some Spydercos and shit. But 98% of gas station knives are going to be shit. Who is Adam Calhoun? He is a musician. But here in the USA, we hate it. Yes, we do hate flattering. That's what. Thank you, man. I had a brain fart. Yes, it's flattering in there from their community and stuff. So if somebody else makes a design very similar to yours, it's a flattering thing. Here, we don't like it. So Ganzo is paying homage in a way by replicating other designs, right? That's kind of like the way they do have a different thought process on that stuff. And it's funny when I've spoken to some of them, like you can tell like there's a very different thing in the culture and everything. So, I could see that being a thing. Now, I'm not saying they didn't know. I really don't know. I'm just saying that is a thing over there, that it is completely different when somebody's doing a design very similar to yours. But they know now we don't like it, and most of their sales, I'm sure, are in the USA. But you're not a fan of Adam Calhoun's music, but I appreciate the American-made work clothing. Yeah, he does have a ACAL apparel. He has USA-made clothing line. I have some of his stuff. Yeah, another one that I really like is this stuff. This is all USA-made. It's called what the fuck is it called? Well, here you can see it's made in the USA, but it's custom fit. I should grab the thing. It's called Fit Something. I got the box right outside over here if you guys care. But it's all USA made. You get them custom fit to your body. It's really cool. They send you 3 shirts. You get to try each one of them out. If you wind up buying a shirt, then you get to keep them. If not, then you just send them back. But they have different grades, different thicknesses, all USA made. They start at $16 all the way up to I think $27 a piece, depending on the thickness and everything. Really good quality. They come out of the dryer not wrinkly. They don't shrink. Like they have 100% cotton ones all the way to the half and half, depending on the price you want to pay. I like Adam Calhoun stuff too. I love his music. Love it, love it, love it. Jared, thoughts on the term white trash or cracker? I don't give a fuck. I've been called a cracker my whole life. And white trash, it's like, it's supposed to be like a, derogatory term, but it's how you perceive it, man. Like, somebody call me white trash, I don't give a fuck. I don't give 2 shits. So, like, it's on me whether or not I perceive it, right? It's kind of like, put it this way, right? If somebody calls you something you're not, and I mean like literally something you're not, like you fucking dinosaur or something weird, right? It's not gonna really bother you because you're like, I'm not a fucking dinosaur. Like, this guy's got problems. Like, but even if they're intending on it being like in an insulting way, But the second you start thinking about yourself, like, and start thinking like that's how they perceive you, and you don't want them to perceive you like that, and I'm not that, and all that shit, that's when you start getting upset. But it takes you to start getting upset. And to me, like, I don't give a fuck. Jared, do you know where I can get an O-Knife GABBANA? What do you think about it? The O-Knife GABBANA. I'm not sure if I know about that one. I do have a link to O-Knife stuff. If you watch my O-Light video, see that lamp up here? I recently did an O-Light video with all their stuff. You'll see this in the thumbnail. This is pretty dope. I actually like this thing. You can even charge your phone on this. But anyways, you'll see that in the thumbnail. I have a link to their site. I'm not sure about the GABBANA or whatever that name was. Tom McDonald has a song called White Trash, and it's fire. He just recently did one called Names, too. Names is dope. Yeah, but yeah, I do like the White Boys. I like that one. White Boys. That one's a really good one with Adam Calhoun. Him and Calhoun did one. I actually played it on Instagram in one of my videos. But the new one, Names, that's a good one too. And it's kind of like what we're talking about now, you know, with name calling and stuff like that. And who cares, you know? I grew up in a time when it was sticks and stones can break your bones. You know, that's how I grew up. You know, and I grew up where, like, literally, like, say recess, right? When we went to recess, we went and did your mama jokes and shit. Like, literally, like, you'd sit outside and get roasted every day. So, like, and it was a humorous thing. It was funny. But what was funny about it was, like, the realness of it, you know? And I'm not saying that there wasn't times where you got into fist fights and, you know, it wound up getting out of line and you get mad and somebody does go, you know, overboard and things like that. But, you know, you learn to get thicker skin. Jared, do you carry pokey knives occasionally? What is it? Pokey knives? Pokey knives. I don't know what you mean by pokey. I think all knives are pokey. If you mean slim and pokey, yes and no. I mean, I don't carry OTFs very much. I have them, but I don't really carry them. I'm just not a big fan of them because, like, when I need to use my knife as a tool, cutting cardboard, straps, whatever, I want a good knife. So if I'm going to use something pokey, it's going to be more something like this, like the CIVIVI CETOS. And like I said, guys, everything is linked down in the description. I like this shape. I like the knife. It's a good knife. I got 2 of them. And by the way, guys, if you're a Patreon, we're going to have, obviously, we always do 3 giveaways. One of them is going to be the Malice, the Wii button lock Malice. I think it's already sold out. The black one is the one we're going to be giving away. 20 CV titanium button lock. Awesome, awesome knife. And we're going to give away one of these CETOS. So if you guys haven't heard, that's going to be 2 of the giveaways. I got to figure out what the third one's going to be. But cool knife, though. It has somewhat of a full-size Elementum vibe, in my opinion, without actually being, you know, the Elementum. Yeah, I knew that, Alice, actually. I knew that. That the term cracker came from slavery days because the cracker was the whip maker, cracking the whips. Well, I would go into fun facts about that stuff because I actually know a lot of fun facts about that stuff, but we won't do that. At least at the moment, unless if you guys want to get into that stuff, I don't give a shit. Nowadays, these kids cry when you say mama jokes. Yeah, we used to fist fight over it. but yeah, it's different times for sure. But I think it's gonna evolve around the other way again. I think we went into this way, and I honestly think, like, so a lot of stuff that I watch outside of this stuff is a lot of men channels and channels that are trying to inspire young men and help them, like, turn into masculine men, and they speak a lot about it. the feminism of men and how it's destroying, America. So getting boys, and especially boys that didn't have fathers and things like that, to realize, that the feminine men is not a good thing. It is not a good thing to feminize men. So I think it's going to evolve around the other way. I think feminine men will realize they're not going to get any pussy. They're not going to get any girls. They're not going to, that they will wind up. It'll be at the detriment of society, men, relationships, and everything. Just like the women being masculine, right? It does the same thing. You get masculine women, feminine men, everything gets fucked up. So Fresh and Fit, yeah, Fresh and Fit's awesome. Sounds gay. Yeah, Jordan Peterson's awesome. Yeah, I like him too. Jared, what do you think about Opinel French knives? You know what? I've tried an Opinel, but I've never owned one. Now I've seen what Wells does the custom knives. I've seen what he's done, like with knives that are kind of similar to that style. They look badass and they're custom and they're very affordable customs, but I've never really owned any of them. How you get into the giveaway? The blackout is nice. You just got to be a Patreon. You just got to sign up to the Patreon. It's always linked at the bottom of the description. Anybody who wants to become a Patreon, and then the membership is separate. So we have the Patreon, which get 3 giveaways every month, and then the I don't know how we did 3. Right? It was supposed to be 1 giveaway a month, and somehow, like, it evolved into 3. I don't know how that kept going, but anyways, then we have the membership, which is 2 lives a month on sharpening, and specifically towards sharpening, working on knives and things like that. A violent society is a polite society. Men need to be masculine to have order in the universe. Facts. Well, I think it goes even deeper than that. I think who's building the buildings? Who's working on the roads? Who's doing the plumbing? Who I have never. Right. And listen, I've been in construction my whole life. I've worked on everything. I mean, I've done concrete. I've done plumbing. I'm not a plumber either, but I've done it. I've done electrical. I'm not an electrician, but I've done it. I've done tons of carpentry, roofing, everything. I've never seen a feminine man on a job site. Not once. And I've dealt with thousands of men. I've done skyscrapers with custom windows. I've done it all. I've never seen that. So I can't imagine society being built by that. So, and I can't, I've never seen, not once in my life, where the feminine man gets the girl. Never. So that's another thing. I'm not against it, Ian. I'm not against it. I'm not like raving for it. I'm not anything for it. I don't give a fuck. That's the point. Like, I don't care. Like, I have friends that are that way, family, a few family members. I don't care. Like, it's the exact same thing like with somebody else. Like, I just don't give a shit. Like, I don't want it pushed into my face to the point to where I have to do something for you towards that. Like, I don't understand that. Like, there's so much that I don't understand where it gets too deep and you start trying to control my speech or things like that. I don't agree with men being in sports with women. I don't agree with that. Not unless if it's like an agreed on situation, but I don't agree on stuff like that. But I don't give a shit, right? Like, I'm religious, so like I, believe in God. So like on that part of me, like, I don't I'm not, like, I wouldn't do it, but I don't give a shit what anybody does. Like, I can be best friends with anybody. And I've always said this, like, this is a huge thing to be an American, is that we can disagree and still be friends. That doesn't, like, that's how it always has been. I think we're in a really weird time where we disagree, so that means we have to hate each other. That makes no sense to me. How the hell can we ever move forward or grow anything? Because I don't agree with people that, that are just like me. So it doesn't make sense. So we have to be able to disagree and be friends. So it just, to me, like that's crazy when somebody says that I disagree with you, so I don't want to, I want to cancel you, or I don't like you, or anything like that. Like, I think the best thing you could do is disagree with somebody and be able to sit down and have a conversation. That's a beautiful thing to me, because that means you can move forward, you can resolve things, you can make the person understand your point of view, right? How can you ever get somebody to sympathize with you if you can't even talk to them? So thank you. What are we disagreeing about? I don't think we're disagreeing about anything, to be honest. Seems like, hey, man, you missed it, man. Where'd it go? Do I got it in here? Oh, I do got it in here. Check this out. I was supposed to do it today. I didn't, man. I filmed everything. I got the fruits and everything. I'm going to film me taking this bad boy out in the yard, and we're going to cut up some watermelons. Don't worry, guys. My lights will be safe. When I brought it out the last live, I was like, man, everything's at risk right now. Everything. Because when you get this in hand, it starts making you want to start doing crazy stuff, man. You instantly become a fucking ninja when you put this in your hand. Oh, I seen somebody did a donation when the live went bad. I'm so sorry. I couldn't hit it, guys. So let's throw a thank you for the donation from the last live where I shit the bed. And JD for EDC, shout out to him with the 5 bones. Thanks for the tag. And you got any of the new Sun Cuts coming in for review soon? Dude, I got one that nobody else has got, and I'm going to post the video tomorrow. However, I'm not even going to say anything else. Yes, I do. I got a badass new one. I think it's going to be a very popular one too. There's just one little tiny issue, and that is that you're not going to be able to get it for a few days. Chop your pooter in half. Chop that pooter. Ninja Neevesknivs. You ever tried the Sun Cut Wizable? No, I never even heard of that one. Are you just making that up? Marcus, are you just making that up? 5 a.m. there? Oh, wow. And I'm watching the Neevesknivs. Well, I appreciate you being here, man. Thank you. That's awesome. It is almost 8:30 p.m. here. What do you think of... oh, yeah, we got to talk about that. Magna Cut Steel. So, all right. So Craig Medford recently did a video talking about... you guys should just go watch it. He talks about him doing Magna Cut and how he's not comfortable with it yet, basically. I'm just going to give the gist. He's not comfortable with it. They did their little tests on it and stuff, and it's not working out the way he thought it would, and he's going to run it at 58, which most of us know it's dog shit. It's not good. It's soft. You can't do that. It's 58 for folders. I say specifically for folders because when we're talking about folders, the majority of the things we're doing with folders is cutting. We're not chopping. We're not hacking. We're usually not prying, especially to the point of which you're going to break your knife, right? If you do pry, it's going to be light duty prying, which in that case, it doesn't matter. Even if it is super hard, it's fine. So there's no point to be at 58. He should be above 62 in my opinion, right? I say 62.5 and up. That's where it should be. That's my opinion. 62 and a half to 63 and a half. That'd be great. He's going to run it at 58. So to me, he can do whatever he wants. It's his company, but to me, I wouldn't buy it personally. There's no way. I would not want that stuff at all. There's no benefits. Of course it's going to be tougher, but why? Why do you need it that tough? Why are you willing to sacrifice edge retention, which is the most important part when we're talking about folding knives, for toughness? That doesn't make sense. And his knives, most of them, not all of them, some of them have very slicey geometry, and I love those ones, but a lot of them have very thick geometry. So it doesn't make sense why he needs his steel so tough if they're already that thick. But even for his thin knives, if you want to talk about him putting it on his thin knives, I just don't agree with it being at 58, but that's what he's going to do no matter what. Me personally, I think it's not good. I think he should run it above 62, in my opinion. Now, he's saying that, I don't know, like it's just not working out for him above 61 or something for whatever reason. I don't know exactly what's happening with him, but he says he's just not going to go all in on it right now. He's only going to use it for special applications, basically, until he's more comfortable with it. And I can't blame him for that, right? I can't blame him for not wanting to go all in on something that he's not comfortable with. If they do their heat treats in house, and let me be clear really quick. Please let me be clear. Medford does damn good heat treats. Damn good. Really, really good heat treats. So I am not trying to make it seem like he does bad heat treats. He does really good heat treats. So I have no doubt that if 58 is not going to be a good heat treat for that steel, but it's not going to be at it's not going to be at a good HRC. It's not going to be hard enough for good edge retention. So it's going to have low edge retention, right? It needs the hardness for the edge stability, for you to have edge retention and edge stability, right? Edge stability from rolling your edge, basically chipping your edge and rolling your edge. That's what we're talking about, and going dull. So since we want that, that's where, you want a little bit higher HRC. And since he's not going to be running it at that personally, if he's not comfortable with doing it at that because he's worried about, I don't know, blades breaking. I'm not sure what he's worried about. But he's probably worried about blades breaking and things like that. I don't know. But if that's what he's worried about, then, hey, he needs to experience it first. And once he does, then maybe he'll know yes or no if he wants to do it. But me personally, I do like MagnaCut. I like MagnaCut when it's heat treated well and the HRC feels good. Soon I'm going to be testing this. Shout out to Erica from Not Your Average EDC. I'll be testing this, and we're going to see how this feels on the stone and how well it holds an edge. I'm not going to go too crazy with it. I do need to get it back to her. I don't want to keep it for too long, but I'm going to put a nice edge on it, see how it feels on the stone. Granted, I think it's a factory edge. Yeah, I think it's a factory edge. So, it'll be only one edge on it. And then, I might put two edges on it because I might sharpen it after, before I send it back to her. But I hope it does well. I got high hopes, but I've heard that it wasn't that great. I use my TS Prof Blitz 360 with Veneve stones and got a hair splitting results with shitty steel. Can't wait to see what this does with good steel. Thanks, Neevesknivs, for recommendations. Right. Yeah, man. It's incredible, man, how sharp you can get an edge when you have proper tools, or you can hold the proper angle, especially when you understand what's happening. That's the most important part. If you understand what you're doing and what you're working on, right? If you understand chasing the grit from the top of the edge bevel to the apex, from heel to tip, getting a burr, doing the opposite side, and doing a good burr removal, which is very, very important. If you understand that stuff as you're moving through your progressions, you can get phenomenal edges. Now, when you start getting into the super steels, you want to talk about sharp, buddy? You want to talk about sharp? Wait till you get to some of these crazy steels. That's when you start getting to high levels of sharpness. It's all, whew, it gets addicting because you're like, damn, it feels good, and it holds it for so long too. Excuse me. China is fucking us politically and sell more in USA. Well, yeah, of course they do, because this is where the knife market is, the majority, right? Most of the knife market is here. But get this, 80% of all the knives in the entire planet are made in China, in one city in China. So we don't make enough knives here to supply the planet, and we also don't make them in an affordable way. It's far more expensive for us to make knives here, and and trust me, man, I want nothing more than for the USA to open up factories and do as much work as possible. But a lot of the companies and people are outsourcing to China. And it's still a win-win. So you can't look at it like, oh, China's getting all the money. That's not true. We actually get the majority of the money in most of the cases. Most of the cases, we get like 58%. When you think about all the details. But in some cases, yeah, they get more. In some cases, we do. In some cases, they get almost all of it. Never all of it, but almost all of it. But that's why, if you want to get good quality knives and you don't want to spend a lot of money, get one that's designed by a USA person, right? Like FERUM Forge. FERUM Forge gets, a lot of this money when you buy this knife. But anyways. What did Ian say? Seems logical, says Jared. When you swing that sword, beware of what your other arm is doing. Hold it close to your chest or behind your back and rotate your hips to get more. Dude, I am a sword master. All right. Fucking master. I'm a motherfucking professional. Let me tell you. I've been sword swinging since I could walk. And that's a fact. Just what I'm like a ninja on the weekends. You guys don't even know. What did Ian say? I can't find Ian's comment. He said something. I seen somebody replying to him. I was looking for it, but I can't find it. Jared, I got the ultra sharp stones you recommended. Nice, and have been doing fairly well with them. Where do you recommend someone go from there in terms of grit to get a nice polish? Maybe a 2K, 5K. Yeah. So polish is going to be over 2K, right? A really good polish is like over 3K, but over 2K is basically a polish. Anything over 2K, that's where like you hit polish is like 2K. And then as you go up, it just gets more and more mirror, right? So you can do two things. One of two things. You can get a high grit stone, like a ceramic plate. You can get a Spyderco ceramic ultrafine. You can get, because you have a 1200. So if you have a 1200, the next thing you want is like a 2000. So, or you can get one Veneve. If you get one Veneve, like the was it the 400 and the 800, right? Because the 800 Veneve stones, their grit system is different. So their 800's like, I don't know, like 3000 grit or something, 3500. Or you can get the 800 1200, which both of those plates are polishing plates. The problem is and it's not really a problem. I'm just saying, like, the 800 is going to be a big jump from the 1200 because you're going from 1200 grit to like 3500 grit. It should work just fine. You might want a stone in between there. It should be fine though. That's why I said use the 4 and the 800. Anyways, you could do that, or like I said, a Spyderco Ultrafine, or you could get some gunny juice, but the gunny juice, you're going to have to get 4 or 5 strops with 4 or 5 of his compounds, the 9, the 6, the 3, the 1 1/4. If you get the 9, 6, 3, 1 1/4, even if you get the 6, 3, 1 1/4, you might be able to get a mirror polish on there if you're really wanting a polish. I prefer getting a polish off of a stone. I'll just be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with tuning things up with a polishing compound. I personally don't like to come off of a stone, though, and go with a grit to polish with compounds. You have more risk of overstropping, and overstropping is where you wind up rounding the tip of your apex a little bit, and it's not getting as keen. Off of the stone, your edge is nice and flat, nice and keen at the apex. With leather, you're pushing it into the leather. So yes, it's polishing, but it sometimes brings down the bite. Now, if you hold your angle perfectly, yes, you can do it. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying you have more chances. So get a Veneve stone. Get a Veneve stone and get a 1/4 micron gunny juice so you can use the Veneve stone, then the 1/4 micron gunny juice. Bang, bang. The gunny juice. I have a full set of Shapton glass stones I use on my Hapstone V3. It's amazing. Bitch, I'm amazing. Jared, my Manix 2 has blade play that won't go away no matter how much I adjust the pivot screws. It still has a bit of play. What is causing it? How can I fix it? Okay, so two things. You're saying it's side to side, right? That's what I'm getting because you tried to adjust the pivot. Take it all the way apart. Make sure your bushing, because you have a bushing that goes inside the hole, right, of the blade. Take that out, clean it off, make sure it's set good, okay? When you put it back together, because it might be angled a little bit. Like the bushing is in the hole and the blade might be kind of kinked a little bit on there. Make sure that goes on nice and flat. That's one thing. The next thing you could do is I don't know about your washers, but maybe your washers are getting wore. Replace your washers. That's another thing that might fill the gap a little bit more. Now, one thing you could always do is just you could get another washer, or a thicker washer or something like that. That should fix it. But the next thing I would do is if your lockup is really strong still, there's no up and down, then I would work on that stuff. Now, if you do have some up and down play, then I would start saying replace your cage or not your cage, your spring and things like that. Yo, Jared, I'm about to try out Shipwreck. I've done some tests, but wondering if you think it's best for the scales to contact the ingredient or suspend them. Contact. So what you want, in my opinion, is take like a paper towel and get your container and crumple it up. And the reason why is because when your item rests on it, see how there's like little gaps here? When it rests on it, those gaps don't touch. So those will expose the really nice copper areas. And then all the places that are touching will patina bright blue. Now, if you do it right, don't keep checking it. That'll be the biggest problem. And listen, just to be honest, right? You want to hear a story really quick? That last shipwreck patina I did with the DOLCA, I messed it up. In reality, what happened beyond the video was I went and checked on it, and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I checked it too early, though. All right. So what happened was all my copper was bright. And I mean, like super bright. And my blues were super bright. But I put it back in there. And when you put it back in there, you can't put it back in there exactly the same way you took it out. You're just not that talented. So it wound up patinaing the other areas that were super bright. And, so don't mess with it. Once you put it in there, leave it in there for a good while, for like 6 hours, if not a little bit longer. And then check on it. When you check on it, be done with it. When you check on it, be done with it. Take it out. That's how I would do it. My question was, is there a limit to the sharpness of a knife edge? Yes, there is a limit. So the limit is when there's no stability. So if I take and steel has a lot to do with this too. Like if you guys listen when I talk about 14C28N, it originally came from AEBL. AEBL was originally designed for razor blades. Razor blades are super thin. That's why it has the ability to have super fine edges. It actually does really well at super fine edges. 14C is just a better version of it, yada, yada. So that's why 14C does so good with low angles and really fine edges and so on and so forth. So certain steels are going to do better than others. But when you lower your angle back so far to the point to where the apex is so thin, it's like nothing behind it, that's when it fails. So yes, and what will happen is just touching it, it'll break. It either won't have enough toughness, or it's just not thick enough, and it'll wear off. Now, that's to the extreme. In most cases, right? You're not going to go that fine, and you're going to get better edge retention, better cutting performance, better everything. The only thing that will go down is the toughness, but usually you're willing to sacrifice some toughness for sharpness and edge retention. Okay, sounds good. Thanks. I've used your same method before and it worked out, but seems some people suspend, and I've heard pink Himalayan salt works good. If you got, yeah, I don't think it matters with the salt personally, but I've never tried suspending it, so I can't speak on it. Maybe it works good. I've just never tried it. The way I've tried, I've always had good results with, so I've always liked it. Uh, and you know, when you do a method and it works so good, it's like, you know, why mess around? You know, the one thing I like to mess around with is how polished I make it. You know, my cleaning processes and how well, because with anything, with anodizing, with all coatings and all that stuff, how you prep is going to be so important to your end result. That's so important. Even the point of fingerprints, right? Fingerprints have oils which detract from those things. So you, like, even with anodizing, like say if I anodized this, right? And right before I anodized it, I touched it right here and then anodized it, you would actually see my fingerprint. It wouldn't look like a fingerprint, but there would be a defect there. So the way you prep is more important than the process. More wifeless knife. I use my pocket knife to kill ants. Getting surgical. Jared, have you tried Rex Spyderco titanium milled clip? I don't know. I might have. I've tried a lot of the clips. I don't know where they've all been from because I get a lot of knives sent in, so I probably have. It depends. So if you're talking, so I have differences. So with me, a tactical knife would be a knife that's good for me in urban areas and jungle, right? Like outdoors in the woods. So if I'm hunting, fishing, making traps, building cabins or whatever, shelter, I should say, fires, I can do it with that knife. But I can also fight with it if I needed to. Whether I'm fighting off, I don't know, a wolf, a bear, a person, whatever, right? So that's usually, in my opinion, a spear point, right? A good, and I mean more beefier than this, but it's like a beefy version of this, like something that's really good, something I could skin with, something versatile, right? Super versatile in all aspects. That's a good tactical knife, in my opinion. Kind of like the Spartan Harsey up there, right? Maybe a little more spear point. That one's more drop point. But a knife for like self-defense, that I want something, personally for me, like I would want something more compact. Like I liked how Knife Junkie said it, you know, when you have like this shape right here, there's nothing on the other end for you to try to get out of my hand. Right? You can't pry this out. I'm not saying this knife is the best, but it's not bad. But it makes it to where I have all edge out and there's nothing coming out of the end. So it's very difficult to get it out of my hand. You know, I do like the thought of a knife being this direction in the hand because this is such a natural motion, right? It's very easy to do. You know, it's something that's just supernatural to anybody. I can actually box, so I'm not actually, I, you know, would be just fine going this way, you know, forward. I don't like these ones going this way. I don't like that. I'm not comfortable with doing that. I've done a lot of boxing and stuff like that. So, you know, doing that motion is just not natural for me unless if I'm doing uppercuts or something. So, but, you know, I would say something similar to that, you know, kind of like that one knife I checked out not that long ago. You like SE or Tops? I like them both. SE has the best warranties, and Tops builds, like, they have such a huge catalog. Tops, it's insane. I seen one of their Blade Show videos where they had their knives on their table, and it was endless designs. It's like they had a knife for everything. But I honestly think any knife could be a self-defense knife, a good, you know, knife for that. Most, not all. Let me be clear. A knife that is shaped like some sheep's foots, the ones that are rounded at the tip, not the ones that are pokey. So like this one would be fine. But like say if this got rounded right here where there was no point on it at all, that might not be the best, right? There might, I'm not saying it wouldn't work, but a lot of other blade shapes would work better. But a firearm is self-defense. Like, so I always say this, right? That's self-defense for one thing. Of course, if you have a human attacker and it's a human attacker, and that's you have that option, right? Personally, I can't carry a gun. I'm a felon, so I can't carry a gun. But if for the people that could, of course, that's great. But a self-defense knife comes in a lot of other different scenarios, right? Like, I always put the place in people's minds, because a gun and a knife, it goes hand in hand. They're both used for different things, right? The gun is used for that one thing. The knife is used for everything else, right? Like, I always use the thing, a dog is attacking your child or somebody you love, like a child somewhere, and you can't get the shot off without possibly going through and hitting the child. A knife would be the better option. Say you or your friend gets wounded and you need to cut the clothes off, right? A rope gets wrapped around your neck, or a seatbelt. You got to cut it off. You don't want to shoot it off, right? All these little things. Tending to a wound. Like, there's so many different things you can think of that a knife is going to be good for. Even like, if you think about it, like in a survival situation where you need to do something where cutting is involved, making tools, making traps, whatever. That's still self-defense in a way, because you're doing it to defend from death. But a human-to-human attacker, right? Like, obviously, a firearm is the best bet. But I could think of many situations in my life where a firearm wouldn't have worked, and would have been a bad option, and a knife could have been a better option. Because there also is the, there's the backstop, like, when you pull that trigger, man, you got to speak for it. And you sometimes, like when I talked about that car thing, you guys remember when I talked about that car thing where I got attacked by those gangbangers and I was getting pulled out of my car? I remember I said that claw knife would have been like the best thing in that situation. A gun wouldn't have been. And the reason why is because they all had guns. So I would have just been shot up if I would have shot a bullet. But if I had that claw thing, nobody else would have known. That guy would have let go and I'd have been gone. Because when we put, never mind. I'm not telling the whole story again, but firearm serves one use. Knives have some, right. And then that's the other thing, is that the other 99% of things, opening packages, cutting this, cutting that, just cutting stuff, food prep, blah, 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 blah. A gun is used for one thing. A knife is a tool for so many things. But agreed, with the firearm thing. Shanktown. What should be the very knife entry level? Possibly the only one. Probably a CIVIVI Elementum. Like, it depends on your, right. This is what I always ask. How much is your budget? Right? How much is your budget? But SPYDERCOs, I would say, are great. Benchmades are great. But if your budget's not there, a PRAXIS. A CIVIVI PRAXIS. It's like a budget version of the knife I'm carrying right now. This is awesome. This is a great tool. The Backlash is another great tool. The Elementum, the button lock Elementum too. This is the big Elementum. This is great. All great knives. Also, I keep raving about it. The DOMIN SHEEPSFOOT. I have all these knives linked in the descriptions, guys. Go down in the description. All these are linked. The KIZER DOMIN with the hollow ground SHEEPSFOOT blade. This thing is amazing. I love this knife. Complete fall shut action. Super good detent. Like, perfect detent. KIZER's killing it right now, guys. If you guys don't know, if you guys have been sleeping under a rock and don't know, KIZER has been killing it with their detents in action. Even this petrified fish is pretty dope too. I wouldn't say it's the one that you should get for your first knife, but if you've had about 5 or 6, this is a great one. Oh yeah, we still got another box to unbox, guys. Let's unbox this really quick. So, you guys already seen me unbox one of these. We have another one. These are linked down in the description again. Through VOSTEED, we have a new I love this blade shape, man. I love the shape, love the design. Seems logical. I know he can appreciate it. The VOSTEED, excuse me, Nightshade. This is the budget version, 154 cm, G10 scales, G10 pivot collar, deep carry clip, stupid good action. This flipper tab is one of the most comfortable flipper tabs you can ever try. You can light switch, you can push button. The access to the lock bar is perfect. I did a full review on this. If you guys didn't see the full review on this, watch the full review, but it's not called, because they weren't called VOSTEED yet. It was a prototype. It was called the Detolith. I think I might have changed the name. I'm not sure. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. But anyways, if you watch my review on this, you can see this thing is so good. It aims at everything. So if I want to open a box right now, like say if I want to open this box, like look at this. Right across there. If I go this way, it's facing everywhere. Even when I'm going around the backside of a box. See how the tip is always facing towards everything? When you're push gutting, it's trapping the material because how it hangs down like that. When you're pulling a cord or getting behind a rope, it traps a rope. This is the most overlooked blade shape in the knife community. It's called a shillin originally, and it's incredible how useful this blade shape is for utility cuts. Even for like if you're going to skin, this thing's still probably pretty good. I haven't done it, but damn it, it's a good one. Can't beat that sheep's foot though. Oh, Alicord's not feeling good. I might be coming around on Warney's sheeps. That blade looks like it's so much fun angle of attack to use it. Are you talking about Sheepsfoots and Warncliffs? I'm telling you, try the damn DOMIN. Try that DOMIN. It's so good, Ian. I honestly think you'll love it. And if you like thumb stud action, Ian, where the hell did I put it? If you like thumb stud action, this thing is great. Even the reverse flick's amazing. It's a nice. I'm not saying stiff like in a bad way. I mean, it's a solid detent, but not too powerful. It's literally enough to where you can build up. It feels like it's assisted, but the blade shape, I'm telling you, this is great because the geometry is so good. You can sharpen it multiple times. It's going to stay the same thinness. It's like 12, 13 thousandths behind the edge. So it slices really good, but it's great for EDC, opening things up. And it's such a great blade shape. Warncliffs are great too. No, it's not a button lock. It's not. I got it linked down in the description. The other micarta, which I would recommend the other micarta. This is the gray micarta. The brown micarta is probably going to be better. And the satin blade. So I got the satin blade with the brown micarta linked down in the description. It's a liner lock, but great access to the liner. I mean, perfect access and complete fall shut action. Watch this. I won't even touch it. Complete fall shut action. It's a guillotine. I got one. I like it. I love the 8010. It's overkill. It's a tough, hard use knife. Great for hard use. It's not the best for EDC, but it's a badass knife. That's what it is. It's a knife on fucking steroids. It's badass all the way around. You can beat the shit out of it. You're not going to break it, and that's what it's good for. Can you also slice and cut things? Of course. It's a knife. It's still a knife. Lay back the edge angle. It'll get really sharp. The ergos are so comfortable. Using it for hard use is great. It's a great knife, but it's a beast. Yeah, I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed at all. I guarantee it. It's great. Like I said, when I got it, I loved it, but the past 2 days I've realized this is possibly the best budget knife of the year. Now, don't get me wrong. I have a couple others on the list. But this thing is so damn good. It's so good. Just got an M390 Penguin today. Nice. It was so stiff, could hardly thumb flick it, and 0 chance of middle finger flick. Really? So, I'm not saying nothing bad. You might have weak thumbs. You might need to just break it in. I've gotten 3 recently. They all have super snappy detents. No problems at all. I mean, I can probably do this with my ring finger. I mean, but if you want to break it in, just do this over and over. See if it'll break in the detent. You might have a burr around the detent hole, but you might just need to do it a bunch of times and get used to it. Now, if Wizard, it's really bad and it's like, because I've gotten some of those. Trust me, I've gotten some of those that are just like, man, this is too stiff. Take it apart. Look around the detent hole. There's probably a burr around the detent hole. Look around the detent hole. Get something like a piece of ceramic, a file, something like that, a rod, diamond rod, something like that, and just go around the hole. Really gently. You don't have to go hard or anything. Just go around the hole and knock that burr off. It's probably your problem. It happens every now and then on knives. SBR, that's screaming my name. E-Knives. What's E-Knives? What's E-Knives? Yeah, man, I got a... Wait, what? Yeah, man, I got a them forged dowel from Drop, and I love that modified sheep's foot. That was my first sheets foot a few months ago, and now I absolutely love it. Yeah, sheep's foots are... They're probably sheep's foots and spear points and drop foots. Can't forget drop foots are my favorite blade shapes for EDC. I think it's just great. Like, because this is perfect for everything I need. You know, even for stabbing, like into things, it's great. For slicing, for utility cuts, for everything, it's just great. A drop point's good too, but I just don't like a drop point. Not that I don't like, okay. I still like, but I prefer a drop point to have a tip that's lower than the center of the pivot. So like this is really good. So this is like a really good example of a drop point to me. I love this blade shape, but it's pretty close where the tip lands to the center of the pivot. If I drew a line from the center of the pivot over, it's very, very close to the tip. I'm not saying it's perfect. This one's a tiny, tiny bit higher, but it's right there. I don't like it when it's a lot farther up because then it's difficult to get to a utility cut. Like a Spyderco, right? That's the beauty of a Spyderco, why their blade shapes are so good. The tip lands below or right at the middle of the center of the pivot. And that's why they work so good. The Elementum, the reason why it's so good, it lands, just about perfect with the center of the pivot. This knife's back in stock. Bang. This thing's pretty badass. $90. Titanium, VG10. Is it VG10? Yeah, VG10. Great reverse flicking action. And it's supposed to be like a kitchen utility knife. It's great, though. Great blade shape. And this one is not centered with the pivot, but because of the way it is, it works great for utility cuts because the edge goes up, but the spine goes down. So when you're holding it, the tip is lined up ready for utility cuts. That's a good knife. I got to catch up. Sorry, guys. Are there any Scandi grinds you can recommend? Was looking to add one of those to the collection. The Fin Wolf, yeah, the Fin Wolf. I don't know if you've had... What? Kara said the Fin Wolf. They heard you, I'm sure. Yeah, the Fin Wolf is probably one I would recommend. Cold Steel Fin Wolf. There's another one I'm trying to think of. I can't get my brain to think about it. Dude is a gangbanger. No, I'm a bang ganger. About that bang gang life. Petrified Fish isn't a bad company to start with. You just want to start with something decent so you have a good expectations, because if you start with something that's like gas station-y or Gerbery, your expectations are going to be very low, you know, because there are some damn good. Hey, Zach, with the 5 bones, do something kind for somebody. Thanks, Zach, man. Zach's so awesome. Definitely go and follow his channel. Can one of the moderators please link Zach's stuff? I'd really appreciate it. Zach's awesome, man. Thank you, Zach. Do you have a video on how high of grit we should go for each type of steel? Yes, I do, but I'll be honest, Andrew. There's 3 or 4 steels on there I would change. So I did it a long time ago, and most of them are very accurate. But there's a few, there's a handful that I've had a lot more experience with, and I would completely change. Sorry, guys. So you can go watch it. And yes, I did do one, and I went through most of the steels, and I said what grit I think you should take each one to. Now, what's also very important with that argument, this is the thing, is doing a video like that, you have to also consider the angle. Angle is very important, right? Some steels, you want to do a lower angle in order to bring out the bite, especially if you go to a high grit. The higher the grit you go, you don't want a super high angle. You want a lower angle, because a high angle is going to get slick. It's not fine enough in order to get the edge stability and really bring out that keenness to get, you know, a really fine edge to where you have the bite hair whittling edges. But if you just lower the angle, it'll change everything. Everything. Sometimes angle is even more important than the grit. So, you have to consider that. And then to do a video like that, to speak about the angles and the grit, it's a very long video. So I might do some soon like that, but I'm going to do 5 to 10 steels at a time, and maybe make like 3 or 4 videos instead of doing 30 steels in one video. But remember, angle is very important. The lower the angle, the sharper, the finer, the more edge retention, but the more you lose toughness. The lower the angle, the lower the toughness, but the higher the sharpness, the higher, you know, the edge retention. I am high and drinking beer in my garage and watching Knife Encyclopedia Man real time and asking a question, and he replied and gave me a very best advice that's possible. Possibly. Internet is amazing. Thank you, man. I appreciate you watching. So many familiar faces, but my first time at a Neevesknivs live. Thanks, Parker. Shout out to Parker. First time at a Neevesknivs live. I'm loving it. What is up with Giant Mouse? I don't know. I haven't really seen anything from them lately. I'd love to see them put out a new design, a new something. Seems Logical says, someone told me to check out Tavera and Roselli if I wanted a good Puko. Do you know of either of these? No, I haven't heard of those. Now I'm interested. I have not heard of them. I recently seen a knife. What was it? I think it was an Emerson. And I think it was Talica that showed me, if I'm correct. And where is it? Come on. Don't let me down. All right, I lost it. I did that dual, here it is, that dual angle edge. Do you guys remember that? Where I did a high angle on this side. Let's zoom in so you guys can see it. I did a high angle on this side, mirror polish. Very beautiful, but I did a low angle on this side. Woo! Sorry, it's got some schmuck on it. But it is stupid sharp. Ooh, I almost just cut myself to the bone. It is ridiculously sharp, guys. I can't. Ooh, just like if you watch my finger right now, I'm just gonna barely touch. Nah, you guys can't see it. Like just right. Ooh, did you see that? Look at that, just touching. It will. it'll peel skin. This thing's like dangerously sharp. Is sometimes like there's people sometimes like, man, I wouldn't want a knife that sharp. This does get to that point to where it's like, do you need it that sharp? Because you fuck up with this, man, it's gonna cut you bad, real bad. Let's see if we can do some paper towel cuts. I bet it will. Look at that. Whew. It's hard for me to hold it though. That's the problem with paper towels, man. You can't hold it. I'm fucking it up. Let me get it. Dropping shit. Let me go like this so I can hold it tight. Whoo! That fucker's sharp, man. It is so sharp. Let's see what kind of... I'm going to make a mess, but look at these curly cues. That one I made a little thick. Ooh, look at how thin that thing is. Can you guys see that? This thing is crazy sharp. But it's the reason why, because I know people are going to ask, why would you want to do a dual grit edge? Well, because you're not, because if I did a 10-degree angle on both sides of an edge, that's where you do lose a lot of toughness. Like it's going to be super fragile. So yes, it'll be like even sharper than that is probably. But by doing 10 degrees on one side and like 22 degrees on one side, you're saving the toughness. It's going to be stupid sharp. And I do think, I can't prove it because I haven't done a controlled test, so I could be wrong, but I think you might get better edge retention too. I think the edge retention might go up. I can't prove it, but I think Emerson does a thing like that. Could somebody get them out of here? I'm sure one of you guys did. Jared, can you tell Metal Complex that folding a piece of paper then push cutting it directly at the crease is not impressive? He's got to up his game to paper towels. You know, not everybody's got Neevesknivs level sharpness, so I can't blame. I mean, you do what you can. You do what you can. And you know, cutting a piece of paper, you know, straight down a crease, that's, you know, that's impressive still. That's sharp. But hair whittling, that's another level. Paper towels are another level. Whittling a hair, that's, you know, that's probably as good as it gets that you can prove. I can't think of something that you can prove. Well, I guess paper towels are a little bit harder than hair. So I guess that would be the best or worst or whatever. My alcoholism? I don't drink. Oh man. I think Jared's I'm at the bottom. Fool. Hair. Well, hair, it's, you know, the one thing with hair is and people don't realize this, but there's different kinds of hair. So some people have really thick hair and it's easy to whittle. Some people have very, very baby fine hair and it's a lot harder to whittle. So, you know, like depending on the hair, it can be easier or harder. Gotta run out for a few. Hope everyone has a great evening. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you coming in, man. The microphone isn't off. Does it sound off? Should be off. Nappy dreadlocks. Nap it, you nappy head. And also, like, one way, if you really want to get a hair, when you grab it, let it curl up and over. That way, when you pull down, it's pulling into a turn. That can help you. Also, one direction, it cuts. The other direction, it slides. So if you're trying and it's just slipping over the edge, flip the hair over to the other side. Because one hair is where the fibers are running. The fibers run like this. Let me show you guys really quick. I'll draw a damn hair for you. So you got a hair and the fibers run one direction like that. So you want your edge to come in this way. Like that. And catch those fibers. That can help. Asked you like 60 times, what are your thoughts on Sandrin Manza? I haven't had a lot of Sandrin knives. I think I've only had the one in. So I haven't tried too many Sandrins. I wouldn't mind trying them, but I just haven't had any in. Was trying to remove my own comment, but the chat scrolled up at the last second. Jared, what steel would you recommend for keeping an edge? Well, different steels for different purposes. So, I mean, there's high edge retention steels, but a lot of them are going to be low toughness. But CRUWEAR for fine edge. CRUWEAR holds probably the longest lasting fine edge, but not the longest lasting edge. So its edge retention really isn't like crazy high, but it holds a really good fine edge. So if you want like that high level of sharpness, now if you're just talking about sharp, just staying sharp, Maximet, Rex 121, steels like that, but they're also going to be more difficult to sharpen for people because they're high carbide steels. Now, if you want strop ability where you can keep stropping it back and getting your edge back without having to resharpen, steels like 14C28N, ARRPM 9, steels like that, they are more of a simple steel, so they're more of a mid-grade steel, so they're not going to have extreme long-lasting edges like Rex 121 or something, but you can continue stropping them and bringing them back. There's a lot of steels, man, and they're for different purposes. Some are tough steels for hard use. Some are not for hard use. They're specifically for cutting, like Maximet. Maximet is a working steel. It's for working edges. So it doesn't hold a fine edge for very long. Well, it does hold a fine edge for a pretty long time, but not compared to its working edge. Like 75% of its edge retention is all working edge. Which makes it good for like working because you're not gonna get it, you're not gonna dull it. So, but it's also not going to be super responsive to a strop or anything like that. You're going to want to resharpen it after it goes dull. I'm not saying you can't strop it. You just have to have the right compound. It's just not going to be as responsive, right? You can still strop it back. You just might want more of a coarser compound when you're stropping it, and make sure it's diamonds. All right, get these guys out of here. Maximet is usually done at like 65, 66 HRC. I think it depends. But anyways, we were going to go to story time. So, we didn't do scent of the day. Let's get these people out of here. One of the moderators, can they get them out of here? Breeze, save the day, Breeze. Breeze's friends are in here. All right, so we're going to do scent of the day really quick, but I'll be honest, I want to bring in a different scent because it's not my favorite, to be honest. But we're going to go through it. You guys recommend, or a couple of you guys recommended it, and it is Spice Bomb Extreme. Sorry. Spice Bomb Extreme. So, it's a really spicy fragrance. Very spicy, almost big. It does have a little bit of sweetness to it, but it's very much under the spice. So this is very like cinnamon, spice, and everything nice. Like lots of spice to it. It is definitely a spice bomb, like the name of it. I did link it down in the description. I think of this more of a cold weather fragrance. I don't think this is going to be a good one for the summertime. So if you're in the high heat, this is not going to be great for you. I did not look at the breakdown, but that's what it is. It's spice. So whatever you think of cinnamon, spice, and you got it. Maybe a little bit of powder. Maybe a tiny, tiny bit of like vanilla or something. Maybe lavender or something. But it's so underneath the spice that you can't even tell. It takes a professional nose to smell that. Now, I think one that's even better than that, if you want to spice one like that, go with AZZARO Wanted by Night. This one, it looks like a revolver. This one is going to be very similar, but with more of a sweetness to it. But it still has that heavy spice, very masculine. This is definitely something you can wear in the club, wear out on a date night, something like that. Like it says, Wanted by Night. This is definitely a nighttime fragrance, something to be close to somebody. Sweet, mostly spicy and sweet. A really good fragrance, though. I do like it. I just think it's going to be more for cold weather and nighttime and dates. Now, if you want something that's just going to be a straight lady killer, you can wear all day, any day, especially in the summer. It might not be great in the winter, but for the summer, high heats, and you want super affordable, fucking crazy affordable, the best fragrance for a budget, Nautica Voyage. You can't beat it. It's like the best affordable fragrance. Now, yes, there's other fragrances I like more than this, but I always tell you guys, my most complimented fragrance has been this. It's very clean, shower gel smelling. It smells like you're fresh out of the shower. It has like a kiwi smell to it. It's very watery. Trying to think of the smell. It's really good though. It's very, very, very clean smelling, shower gel smelling, fresh out of the shower, watery, kiwis, and yeah, really, really good though. And it's so damn cheap, man. It's so cheap. Every time I wear this, I get a compliment. I don't think I've ever wore it without getting a compliment. Put it on the other day just to do it. Kara complimented me like that. You did. So, but it's also, like I said, though, there's no spice in that, though. So if you're wanting something with a spice, then but you're going to spend a lot more money because, like I said, this is super affordable. Go with the Sauvage. The Sauvage is more masculine, a lot more masculine, and it's linked down in the description, but a lot more expensive. It'll probably get you just as many compliments, and it's more masculine. This one's definitely better for the high heats, though. Anyways, and for the pocket. Let's get on to the next one. All right, so, how you doing? I thought we. Whoa! See, this is where you're all wrong, wizard. Smelling good as a man is a masculine thing. So that's what a beta would say. He says fragrance. I thought we talked about what's that word? Effeminate men being bad. Yeah, so he's saying a fragrance that's not a feminine thing, that's a masculine thing. A feminine man wouldn't be wearing a fragrance because he doesn't want to smell good for the girls and for everybody around. A masculine man wants to smell good, and he knows he wants to smell good because he wants people to be attracted to him and want to be around him. And you can walk around smelling really good. You can go from working with your hands and busting your ass to going out on a date and picking up girls or, whatever. So, no, that's a very masculine thing. smelling good. Who the fuck wants to smell bad? Only a stinky fucking fucker beta motherfucker who, you know, who ain't trying to pick up girls wants to fucking smell bad. I'd argue smelling good isn't masculine or feminine. Smelling good is just self-care and taking pride. But that's a fucking taking care of yourself, exercising, working out, good diet. That's all masculine shit. Like, I mean, in my opinion, and smelling good and taking care of yourself, good hygiene, all that shit. Like, I think of somebody who's very you know, how do I say it? Well, not just that, but you're in control. Like, you're in control of yourself and what goes in and around you, and you're prepared, organized, all that stuff. Like, to me, that's all masculine shit. Now, feminine, when I think, and just so we know, like, the differences with fragrances, there's feminine fragrances and masculine fragrances and everything in between. That's how that goes. So you can have a very feminine fragrance, but wearing a fragrance, that's not a feminine thing. Man, can you get a date in my what was that, Breeze? I gotta read that. Can you get a date in my neighborhood for as little? You can get a date in my neighborhood for as little as 5 bones. No work required. All right, let's go into story time. So we got a quick one. I call this segment Steel and Sense. I like it. Good one. Knives and Sense, baby. Yeah, you know, I think it's good to take care of yourself, man. Who doesn't want to take good, and you know, and like I said, I always advocate for you guys to take good care of yourselves, man. Take good care of yourselves. Be healthy, you know, whether it's exercising or eating healthy or working hard, work as hard as possible, make as much money as you guys can, smell good, you know, take care of yourself, because remember, the better you take care of yourself, the better you can take care of people around you. That's how that works. So let's go into story of the day. So where did I put it? Oh, I cut it up. Son of a bitch. What did I write down? I don't even remember now. Fuck. Okay, so okay. I remember what I was gonna say. I got one. You're gonna get something else for life with that 5 bones. Knives and scents and cutting boots. Jeremiah says, looking good and smelling good is just common sense on getting ladies. Yeah. Facts, Jeremiah. Yeah. Of course. Chuck it with the 5 bones. Where's my date? Where's my date? Don't be nice, guys. Story of the day. Canceled. All right, let's do it. All right, so I cut it up and I canceled it. All right. Okay, so I was gonna tell a story about the time I got dragged out of court. So okay. So I wound up in jail, right? And I'll talk a little bit about that first before we go into the story. So, you know, when you first get in, you got to go into the bullpen, right? So the bullpen is where like everybody who's getting ready to get processed is in a room, right? But they keep it so cold you can almost see your breath, and there's a reason for it. The reason why is because a lot of homeless people will be in there, and people that stink, people that are not fucking staying fresh to death. So when you're in there, if it's hot, the stench will linger like crazy, and it does get bad. So they keep it so cold. But you'll go in there with flip-flops, shorts, and a wife beater, right? I've been in there with that exact outfit. So, but anyway, so you're in there. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. You're freezing. So one of the methods to not dying is people take the paper towel roll and they take it off and they insulate their shirt. Like literally, you'll walk in there and you will see toilet paper coming out of people's necks and shit, like just stuff. They'll make their shirts into a coat, basically. They take their arms, put their arms inside their shirt, just like this, you know, and they take all the paper towel rolls and put it in the inside so they don't die, right? So you deal with that for about 4 to 6 hours or something like that. Then you get processed and then you go into the back room. Well, you're not in like all the way processed yet. You have to go back there. That's where now they'll feed you and things like that. You're locked just in another room. But now you know you're not getting out. Once you get to that point, you're not getting out. So you might have a chance of getting out if you're in the bullpen, because that's where they'll let you sign yourself out. They'll let you get bail, whatever, right? We don't even have bail, so you have to sign yourself out. But anyways, so you once you go to the back, you're not getting out. So you're going to be in there for about a day or two. When you're in there, they're waiting for the inside of the jail for that room to empty, because you have to go to another dorm, and that dorm figures out where to put you in the jail. So before you get to there, you're in the you're starting the process, and in there now you've been your clothes are changed. You're in the jail outfit. They give you a mat, and they start feeding you and stuff. And the food is so bad. It's so bad. You have never starved so bad, unless besides like the first week. And I'm not saying nobody has, because I've definitely starved to damn near to death. But you're so hungry, and the food they're giving you is not enough to even like calm your appetite. It's so little. It's like it's cereal and powdered milk, and then they'll give you like an apple, right? And then, like say for dinner or something, you'll get slop and a muffin, something like that. But it's like there's nothing to it. There's no taste, no flavor. It tastes like it looks. Anyway, so I'm in there, and you have to go to the back now. Then once you get past that, you go to where they figure out where they can put you. Now, why do they put you in different places? So there's, depending on where you're going, every jail has this, by the way. And the reason why is because they don't know who you're affiliated with, what gang you're in, who you've had problems with. So they, like, say if last week I was locked up, which this has happened to me, where I got into a fight. So now they wouldn't put me back on that floor. So if you've been in a fight on a certain floor or with specific people, then they can't put you on that floor with that person, and they don't want to risk it by putting you there and not knowing, and something happens. So they keep you in this dorm base. It's not a dorm, but it's jail, it's all cells and everything, but it's just one floor until they figure out where to put you. Anyways, so I wind up going to court, and when I'm in court and seeing the judge, and this is the story now. So I go to the judge, and it's my time to see the judge. So if I'm going to get out, this is my chance, right? Once I get away from him, whatever he says, like if I don't convince him to let me out, I'm not going to get out. And it's going to be probably 2 or 3 days until I see him again. And I don't want 2 or 3 days. I want out. So I'm in front of him, and I'm not cuffed, right? I'm not cuffed, but there's a rule. You have to keep your hands behind your back, right? They don't want you to ever put your hands in front of you. And I'm in front of the judge, and he tells me something, right? But they talk so fast sometimes you can't fucking understand them, and they're just trying to get you past. And I'm like talking to him, trying to say, I forget what I was trying to say. I don't remember what I was trying to say. But then he says something, and so now it's over, right? I'm done. I lost my chance. I'm not getting out. And all I did, I swear to God, all I did was I went, Your Honor. That's it. Your Honor. And all of a sudden, I got grabbed by like 9 dudes. I don't even know. Lifted off the ground and pulled, because there's a door right there too, so they can get you out quick, out into the hallway. And I get slammed up against the wall, fucking cuffed. And they're like, you know, like not beating my ass or anything, but you know, they're roughing me up a little bit. And they keep saying, "What'd you do? What'd you say? What'd you say?" And I'm so confused. I'm like, I raised my hand and said, "Your Honor." And they said, "No." "Would you spit at him? Would you tell him to go fuck himself? What'd you do?" And I said, I raised my hand and said, "Your Honor." And then they go, "He wouldn't have hit the button for that." And then I'm thinking, like, that's why they grabbed me. He hit an under the table button for them to grab me. And I didn't even know, right? And then they started talking about it amongst themselves. And the one dude like looks back in there, like, did we grab the wrong guy or something? Like, you know, and he's like looking back in there to make sure that make sure the court's all calm, make sure like whatever. And I'm sitting there, and then they turn me around now. Now I'm turned around, I'm cuffed, and I'm looking at all of them, right? And they're sitting there confused, looking at me. "What'd you do?" You know, because they're wanting to, they're willing, they have to figure out they're going to press other charges on me. I'm like, "I didn't do anything." I said, "I raised my hand and said, 'Your Honor,' and then you guys scooped me up." And they're like looking back and forth at each other, you know, like trying to figure it out. And they're like, "Fuck it." You know, like they couldn't figure it out because they couldn't understand why would the judge hit the button? Because normally the button is for when somebody's getting out of line. I didn't get out of line. Nothing. Like I did exactly what I said. Before that, you know, I was just answering questions and questioning and blah, blah, blah. It was just, you know, normal shit. But yeah, super confusing though, you know, because, you know, I've been to court a bunch of times, been in the same position, but never got picked up and dragged out of court by they call them like the Ninja Turtles, but they weren't really the Ninja Turtles. They were like just regular COs. But yeah, but it sucked. And then I didn't get to go back in front of them for like, I don't know, a few more days and blah, blah, blah until I wound up getting out. But bunch of bullshit. He hit the button. That's what I thought. He hit the button by accident. I think they started thinking that too when they were like looking back and forth, and like, because the door has a thing so they can see the court. So, and I can see one guy like looking through, like trying to figure out, like, did we get the wrong guy or something? You know, and like, and the other guys are sitting there like trying to, like, one guy's like looking at me serious, like, "No, tell me what you did," you know, and like they could see in my face how confused I was. Like, what are you talking about? You know, and then they wound up just like giving it up. So maybe he accidentally hit it. Maybe he did it on. I have no idea. But they never made it seem like he even said. Obviously, they didn't know what I did. I didn't do anything. I see Hungry Bird's telling a story. I can't see what he's saying though. Homeboys were smoking a joint in a lockup, and as they passed it to me, "Hey, assholes." "Just don't borrow from the South Sides for cookie." Just saying. Best to have somebody for that commissary. Ramen noodles are king in jail. Yeah. But you know, I think, or I feel like every time I get locked up, I get locked up. So here you get to order commissary every or you get your commissary every Thursday or whatever, but I think it's a 2-week thing. So if you get in on like a Friday, you're not going to get nothing until not next Thursday, the next Thursday after that. So when you order commissary, it's always a week behind. So it sucks. It sucks, man. Like you'll go like 2 weeks, you know, and if you can get some money on your books and you can get commissary, well, then you can do some wheeling and dealing and get people to front you stuff if you have some pull. Like I was always good like that, so but you're still, though, you don't want to get into debt, if you don't know if you're going to get out or not, right? And, no matter what, I would always been good for it, but still though, you think about stuff like that. So, but yeah. Do you think the judge just felt disrespected by the hand up? Maybe. I mean, if that was that's possible, but it still doesn't make sense for him to hit the thing for that, because I already have an officer behind me. So they control it. Okay. So they know like that some people are not used to it. They know that. So like little things like this, they let go to some extent, because this could be brand new to you. You're freaking out, your adrenaline's pumping. So they'll just stop. Hey, don't do that. Keep your hand behind your back. They'll just tell you. They don't send the boys in to pick you up off the ground and walk you out. They don't do that for that. They do that for spitting, cussing, fighting, shit like that. That's what those guys are for. They're just waiting outside the room for that button. That's all they're waiting for. And the button doesn't get hit but maybe he was just done. Like, this is the end of my day. I'm done. I don't want to talk to this hand raiser right now. Maybe. It's very possible. Neeves, if it'll go, used to sharpen knives in the joint. Scraping all night on the concrete floor. Breeze put Chet in timeout. Kid needs spanking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking now. Like when I look back at it, because I thought about it for a while. Like, what happened? And I tried replaying it in my head, and the only thing I could come up with was he either accidentally did it or it was not his day. Because I've definitely had judges that was not their day. I told the story about the time where I was getting ready to go up to the judge, and like, I don't know, 5 guys before me or something goes up to him. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm in court, fresh out. So like I got out like, I don't know, a couple weeks before that, right? Maybe 3 weeks or something. I had to go back to court for some reason. I don't know what. You have to do that, right? Anyways, the point is that while I was in court, a guy went before me, and the judge, so he had to go across the street, because the way it goes is like when you're on pretrial and stuff like that, when you get out, when you leave court, you have to go directly to parole or whatever it's called, pretrial, to take a piss test. And if you're dirty, you come right back to court. If you're clean, you get to leave. This guy, piss dirty, came right back, and the judge looked at him and said, if you would have just told me the truth, I'd let you go. He's like, why didn't you tell me? Why'd you lie to me and tell me you were clean? And the guy's like, and he's like, lock his ass up for lying to me, right? So I'm thinking like, oh, I got to tell this judge the truth. I can't lie to him, right? Don't lie to him. The last time, let me just be clear, the last time I went to court, I dipped. I was supposed to go across the street, and I ran. And I told my lawyer, because he was like, you have to go across the street. I said, the judge never said it. Because normally every time when you leave the judge, they tell you, don't forget to go over to pretrial. This was my first time technically for this case, and he didn't say it. So he never told me to go across the street. And I said that to my lawyer. He's like, yeah, but you're supposed to. I said, but he didn't say it. He's like, they're going to put a warrant out for you. I said, I know, but I'm coming right back and getting locked up either way. Like, what's the difference? So he's like, all right, it's on you, So they wound up letting it go because of the whole discrepancy. Like, I never got told or whatever. And now, like I said, I'm back in court. So when I walked up to the judge goes, he's like, I'm going to send you over to pretrial or, over to the thing. Are you going to piss dirty? And I said, I might. And he goes, lock his ass up. And I'm thinking in my head, you just told the other guy if he was honest with you, you wouldn't lock him up. I'm being honest. Nope. Locked my ass up for like 3 days for that. And I didn't piss dirty. Remember, I didn't piss dirty. I just might have pissed dirty if I went over there. But he was like, nope. Basically, he was like, like, why the fuck would I let you go when you just basically admitted to me that you've done something, right? And that's technically not true. You could have something in your system from a while ago. But like I said, I was already locked up, let go. I had been out a week or a couple weeks and I had to go back to court. So technically I should have been clean because I was already, anyways, doesn't matter. But I thought being honest with him, he would be like, I respect you being honest. Yeah, right. Lock his ass up. Why did I time out this fuck? I'm not a fan of timeout. I'm usually just full on ban forever. Why did he get a timeout? Why didn't we just ban him forever? Yo, barely made it. Missed the last couple. What's up, Jim? Chet isn't the only one tonight. That's the pain of the channel getting bigger. Glad you aren't getting in trouble anymore. No, I haven't been in trouble in a long time. I haven't. When I did probation actually. I mean, aside from the first like 6 months, I did probation perfectly. The first 6 months I was fucking around, but I was getting away with everything. But I was still fucking around. But I was getting away with everything, so I never got caught on probation. The first like month or so, or whatever, me getting locked up back and forth and stuff. But ever since then, I did probation perfectly and got off free and clear off probation. And no, I haven't gotten in no trouble. No, I changed everything about myself. I've turned my life completely around. I'm like 100% the opposite of what I was. That's one thing that sucks about more subscribers, more trolls and jackasses. Yeah. Well, it's just like the ones that go in my actual comments of the videos. They literally try to scam people. And they have my thumbnail. And I can't stop it. I report them all the time. There's nothing I can do. What part of Chicago are you from? Grew up in the north side suburban. I'm from the actual North Chicago part. So not north side, but North Chicago, Waukegan area. I was born in Waukegan. Trolling is no biggie, but when you start saying you are in AB and fucking with homies, Ian. Everyone should grow out of getting in trouble by the time they're 30 to 34 years old. Oh, for sure. Even before that, shit. Jared, you are a saint compared to some of the dodo birds I grew up with. Well, same here. Same here. Yeah, I mean, I got a pass, but I'm definitely past it, so it happens. Am I familiar with Illinois knife laws? I mean, to an extent. I mean, downtown Chicago, I think it's under 3 inches as you have to have in downtown area. Outside of the city, it's different. Yeah, I knew one AB too. Well, not a few, but some that I knew really well. Do you play any video games? What's the usual? No, I do not. My wife does, but I don't. I just work. I work out, work, and that's it. Tomorrow I might be going to the races, but I don't do that often. I think so. So I think outside of downtown, so like Cook County's got its own rules, right? And especially like downtown, but when you're out of Cook County area, especially like outside of city limits, it does change. So I think it's going to depend on the county, obviously. And there's, you have Cook County, Lake County, so Grundy and all that shit. So it just depends on where you're at, McHenry County and shit. So, but yeah, if you're not, hey Ryan, we got a new member. Shout out to Ryan, man. Thank you for becoming a member. I thought you already were a member for some reason. But like a lot of it's like because you can have carrying permits if you're not a felon. You can get carrying permits and carry just about whatever you want. So there's ways around things. Which I hate too, man. I don't think there should be any of those rules, to be honest. Like it doesn't really stop anybody. It's just because you like, put it this way, right? If I'm a felon and I still want to do crime or do harm to people or anything, I can still do it. It doesn't matter what the law says. The only difference is whether or not somebody's going to be able to defend themselves against me. So I think it's all bullshit. But some people do believe in like felons not having, the ability and stuff like that. I don't believe in that. I think that you shouldn't, just because like I'm a felon doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to defend myself. It doesn't make any sense. Not to me. I mean, some people look at it that, well, you gave up your rights when you fucked up. And, I take that, I take that on the chin, obviously. I just don't agree with it. I understand it, but I don't agree with it. I heard Chicago is rough. Easy access to anything you want. Yeah, I think any city's like that. Any city's going to be like that. You can get whatever you want. I think most places are like that. I don't even think it's just the city. I think in most places you can get just about anything you want. You just got to know it's just knowing people, knowing the right people. If you know the right people, you can do and get whatever you want. I knew a story about somebody he's passed away now, but on a job site there was it was doing concrete. Down in a hole, they were in like a subdivision and they're working on this foundation, right? So the hole's there and they're outside. There's no porta potty or anything. So he winds up pissing like at the corner of the hole, right? And a lady that's in a house calls the cops, and the cop shows up and comes over and starts asking the guys which one of you guys were I think he knew which one. Anyway, so he asked him like, were you out here pissing? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, the lady across the street called and said that she's seen you pissing going to the bathroom out here or whatever. And he was like, well, if my dick wasn't so big, she wouldn't have been able to see it. From all the way over there. And I thought that was so funny. Oh, man. What's up, Q-Ball? Q-Ball's in the house. I agree with that. I don't think there's any, like, to me, there's nothing that says that you, unless it, like, don't get me wrong. I get it if you're still under paperwork. If you're under paperwork, I get it. Because in that case, you did give up your rights. You're technically owned by the state. Like when you're on probation, you don't have rights. That's not how that works. You don't have your rights anymore. Not to the extent of somebody else. Obviously, you have some, your right to remain silent and all that stuff. You have that stuff, but you don't have the rights like other people do, especially if you're locked up. If you're locked up, you definitely don't. So I understand to the extent of which, like, wow, they're figuring out, like, are you going to be a good part of society or are you going to be a shithead, right? But once you've proven yourself and you're off fucking paperwork, I think you should get all your rights back. I don't think you should have to linger that shit forever, Like, just like, man, you wouldn't believe how many felons go back to crime because they can't get a damn job because they got felon on their paperwork. And you have to admit that when you get a job because they can see it. So, like, and I've dealt with that, man. I literally spent, I don't know, when I first got out, and I remember I was still on paperwork. I probably spent like 6 months walking, taking buses to everywhere. And the second they found out I was a felon, they were not hiring me. I mean, everywhere. And like I was calling, making appointments, doing all this shit. Literally, it got to the point where it was like, okay, I have to get on foot. I have no choice. I have to get on foot. Getting on foot. And that's how I finally found a job. Finally. But it took so long. And I wound up having to get like an under the table job and all, like, and the job wasn't great. And it makes it to the point to where people get hungry, man. They got to eat. And sometimes they know an easy way to make money that's not legal. But why make them get in that position, you know? But I also understand that, you know, they need to know too that you're a fuck up, or that you've been a fuck up. You can't get one with the med marijuana card too. Anything to take away your second. Yeah. They'll use anything for that. Anything. But that's why we got to start fighting for that shit back. Like, I honestly don't know how we're in positions we're in, because you'd think it'd be pretty simple. Like, we have the Constitution that protects those things, and then those things that doesn't come up with all these conditions. You don't have that, right? This is supposed to be your God-given right, not God-given right under this, you know, criteria, not God-given right if you do this or if you don't do this. That's not how it is. So to me, like, I don't know how we've gotten to this point to where we're putting all these guidelines on shit. It drives me nuts. It literally does. It makes me fucking furious. And even if it doesn't affect me, even if it affects other people, like, you know, like, let's say my guideline is rightful, right? Like the founding, fine, whatever. But all these other bullshit guidelines, I fucking hate. I think it's ridiculous. Like, even all the way down to cards, you know, having to have a FOID card. That's ridiculous. Why? Why should you have to have a card for it? But everybody looks at it differently, though. A lot of state and even federal laws are unconstitutional, facts. But that's why, like, if you really go to court, you'll beat it. It's weird how they have these restrictions that in reality, if you go to court, all you gotta do is plead not guilty. If you plead not guilty, you're the worst public defender could get you out of it, because it's unconstitutional. The state can't ever override your constitution. Or the Constitution. All right, guys, we're gonna take off. Man, how many of you guys are in here? I just don't leave yet. I want to know how many people are in here really quick. 120 people, man. That's awesome. 117 now. 3 people dipped really quick. Thank you, guys. Remember, patrons, you guys got a mini malice coming. Not this one, but a different one. The button lock mini malice. And you guys also have one of these bad boys, the CETOS, coming, and something else. We'll figure out what the other thing is. And shout out to everybody in here that hung out with me, sits here and shoots the shit and talks knives and goofs off and has a good old time. I do appreciate it. I love it. I love doing it. I am thinking about possibly doing which you guys know, sometimes I bring people in here and we do a live where I'm sitting here talking to somebody. I am thinking about getting somebody in here again soon to really shoot the shit. But I appreciate the donations, man. The donations massively help. Like I said, all the knives we talked about in this video and the senses and everything's linked down in the description. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for everything. Peace. Well, you got one today, Bobby. Thank you, Tony. Later, Tony. Later, Chuck, Brandon, everybody, Mike, Sam, Breeze. Shout out to Breeze. Eric, salute. Q-Ball, Chuck, Wizard, Papa Kyle, Ryan, Zach Stuff. Love you guys.